everyone. Hello. Hi, it's Linda Riley here, and I am with my soul sister and my partner in crime, Miss Betty Ann Golden. She's in her home in Las Vegas. I'm in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, where I live. And we're here to talk again. We're eager to talk to each other and to talk to you as well about pertinent topics relating to love and how we can all deepen into greater love, joy, and abundance, prosperity in our lives. All these good things that we want more of, and we have the right to have them. That's one thing I've definitely learned, that we do have the right to have them. And so last time we were talking about the importance of self love. And we were both talking about how part of our journeys have been, they're similar in that, we both have needed to take that journey into greater self love of ourselves in order to be happier people, to have better lives, that kind of thing. And how we've realized how important that is, and how, you know, generally speaking, in my experience, anyways, I don't think a lot of people really do actually really love themselves or value themselves, think they're worthy, however you want to label it. It's just that lack of true self-love. And we were clear in the last one too, that we're not talking about selfish love here. We're talking about true loving, knowing who we are and loving ourselves for who we are, whether that's good or bad, or our shortcomings, or our positive attributes, that we accept it, and we like all of who we are. And I was sharing with my journey, that I basically just realized that I didn't really love myself, and it took me a while to stop blaming the outside. I think that how I put it, that I was looking for happiness on the outside, and we do that a lot, don't we?
Yes, I
Partner there. Yeah. We're looking for happiness on the outside rather than looking in our own inner world for, that being the source of our own happiness. We got to do that.
yes, yes. I was just telling somebody earlier that I'm feeling an echo, so I'm not sure if it's mine or what. But um, so I was just telling someone earlier this morning that um, she is worthy of everything she wants, because she keeps telling me that she keeps sabotaging herself when things are going good, and things are happening the way she wanted it to do, and she sees the excitement of more stuff going on. She all of a sudden retreats and cuts herself off.
Hmm.
And so, because she has a problem with earning money doing something fun, and the way what she really truly is. She's a great teacher, and she's a great, um, you know, she has a program that puts things together, and she has a way of communicating that's amazing. But she's not. She doesn't think she is worthy of the great results that she starts to get. And as soon as she starts to get, she stops and she goes in hibernation.
So has she come to realize that? Did you help her realize that, or has she realized that she's, in this case, it seems like her own greatest enemy? You know,
She
she,
is. She is. And we're all victims to what we've been exposed to, whether it was our childhood or the mentors around us, or our spouses. Maybe you know, maybe, I maybe someone like that kept putting her down or
Mhm.
didn't allow her to blossom and rejoice in it, or maybe they were jealous that she was better than them or could do something better than them. Who knows? But they, that's what I think really happens to us is that, someone or, in our lives, um, when we did something that we were excited and proud of, we didn't get what we thought should have gotten, you know, a reaction, or maybe we got a negative, and it could have been from jealousy or just ego from that person, didn't want you to be, didn't think you would be better than them. Who
Mhm.
knows,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. But it seems like what you're saying too is that we take it on, right? What someone else may
Yes,
think of us or what they accuse us of or not, that sort of thing is that we believe that for whatever reason. And I think we believe that because we're not necessarily secure in ourselves. Because when you think about it, a secure person, someone who knows their worth, someone who loves themselves, it wouldn't matter
no,
what other people say. I mean, it would to a point, right? I mean, maybe you'd consider it, you'd take a look at it. Is there anything here for me to glean from this? But you wouldn't necessarily like take it on like energetically on your person,
yeah.
you
Well,
know?
I think I know I've always had that issue, especially if somebody, maybe I did something and yes, it wasn't the right thing, but I wasn't thinking when I did it. So um, then when you get called on it, you kind of go, well, I thought I was doing it for a good reason, but in their eyes, it was not a good reason because they don't agree with your reason. They don't agree with your what you wanted to accomplish, and then you then you feel like you've um, been attacked on your character or whatever, um, on your love, and they question your love. Um, and that, to me, that's really hard to get through. You
Well,
know,
I would say so. Absolutely. If someone close to you accuses you of, yeah, like you don't love me enough or
right? Or you don't. There's so many things that, well, you love X more than X.
yeah, well, comparison, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely for sure.
And
Yeah.
just because you did one time, you did something that you totally forgot, or you just were trying to make something work and it just wasn't working in that direction. So, anyways, those are little things. Those are different avenues that I know I've experienced. Um, how you get out of that is really difficult, to start believing in yourself again and loving yourself. Um, how how you can get over the hurt, um,
Mhm.
so that you can say you're not a bad person. You made a mistake, maybe in their eyes. So, okay, but then you get, when you're being punished by it, um, you you don't know what to do. So you gotta build yourself back up again. You got to
Yeah.
start believing in yourself and know that they've got to be going through their own problems and their own issues that's causing those reactions to you.
Yeah. And it looks like in this case there's a amount of projection going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you were talking there, what was coming up in my mind was this, this pervasive. Actually, one of my mentors, John Kehoe, the author of mind power in the 21st century. And he does his work surrounds the powers of the mind, and he calls this idea of not enough, but we believe that we're not enough. And I call it not enoughness. I think that he calls it, first of all, John, he calls it the sacred wound of humanity, that in some degree, in some way, we all have it going on at some point in our lives, whatever. And it's something that, we can either choose to look at or just keep being wounded by it and, keep living a life that's, really lesser than what we want. Because
Right.
if we want to be happy and if we want to have a good life, we really have to love ourselves and like ourselves for who we are and feel that we are enough. And that, you know in my experience too, when I discovered it in myself, when I started to take the journey of why aren't I happy? Like, how I'm going to look on the inside. That makes sense to me. I'm going to stop this blame on the outside. I'm going to look into my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions. Like, what's going on there? Like, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? Because I really did buy into the idea that what you're thinking and what you're feeling is creating your life. It has a hand in it.
Oh, it
And
definitely does.
right, right. And then when I started to really have the courage to look at what I was thinking, I just never felt that I was enough for anybody. Certainly not enough for myself. Certainly, I just felt that I just wasn't good enough. I wasn't a good enough mother. I wasn't a good enough wife. I wasn't a good enough friend. I was really not really good enough in my job. I had a very, at a time, an important, prestigious job within an organization. And like, I felt like a fraud. I mean, at times I really did, right?
Yeah. Well, you weren't.
No, I know, but that was the root I discovered of my real unhappiness.
Yes.
My not full happiness, put it that way, because I don't want to get I don't want to be mistaken here and make it sound like I wasn't at all happy in my
No.
life. I mean, I was, but I was looking for more, like, what's it like to be like truly joyful and truly happy? What does that feel like? I believed we had the potential for it. I believe we were created in order to have that,
Yep.
but like, it just wasn't happening for me, right? Like, so
And I,
I
yeah, I think also sometimes we are happy, except in one. Sometimes it can just be one area or one incident that brings that's such a strong hurt that you have a tendency to keep thinking about it. So that makes everything not happy because that
yeah,
incident is happy. So and I I always like to say, okay, when you know you're doing something that you don't really want to do, then stop thinking of it and start thinking differently, right? And the more often you catch yourself, the more often, the less often you'll think about it. So if you catch yourself and change it, catch yourself and change it, eventually you're going to do that less and less. And hopefully you let it go. But when it's really, really deep embedded, it truly is difficult, to change
yeah,
yourself to a
because it's
positive.
a wound. It's a wound, right? Like, don't you think? I mean, it's a wound on our psyche. It's a wound on our, who we are,
So if you
or as
think about
people.
it, it's a wound, and you put something salt or tart or something stringent on it, it stings
Oh
more.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I guess that's how we have to. Like you said, it's a wound. So we have to realize that every time we think about it and it makes us feel bad, it's like we put salt on it,
Yeah.
made it worse.
Yeah.
We did it ourselves. So we're
Yeah.
making it worse by just for ourselves. And it's not, and we can't fix the outside. We can't fix the other people. We can't. All we can do is fix ourselves. And that's truly what self love is. What do we need to create ourselves so that this way, maybe eventually, um, we're happy. And when we're happy, then we only attract and are surrounded by other happy people and things.
Yeah. Yeah. It truly starts with a change within ourselves. And like you say, it's not easy to do. But when you're aware of it, and like more than anything, I just would really like people to just, if you're really not where you want to be in life, if you're not, feeling like something's missing, this idea of this pervasive I'm not good enough is just, it's really at the root of things, and it will permeate every area of your life because it's a lack consciousness, right? Don't you agree? It's like scarcity.
Yep.
I'm not good enough. And then I looked at other aspects of my life, and then it was like, well, not only am I not good enough, but I don't have enough money. I don't have enough, really good friends. I don't have this. I don't have that. You know, just like dissatisfaction from a lack consciousness, a lack thinking about things. And it was really interesting to notice how, this thing that started within me, that I wasn't good enough and I didn't feel worthy, it just spread out and just was present in every aspect of my life when I started to look at it. It was really interesting.
Yeah, it truly is not enough. You don't have enough of this. You don't have enough of that. But in
Scarcity.
yeah, but in reality, we have everything we need. But
We
we're
certainly do. It's out there. Absolutely, you're right.
but for some reason, how we've been brought up or our thoughts, who we are, that we feel we need the outs something more outside of us, not within us. And that's the hardest, yeah, it's the hardest realization to
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, I believe you're right in that it has a lot to do with how we were brought up, what people said about us, what we took on as, other people's beliefs about ourselves, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also about society and the media.
Yeah,
Because when you look at how we were, I don't know, raised, how we were socialized, we were taught that there was only so much, right? Like there's only so much
yeah,
of wealth, of, resources, whatever. Everything's finite, which we know now because we've taken the journey with this, that there is nothing but abundance. But we
correct.
were taught that there was only, a small amount of things, and we all had to compete for our little piece, of the pie,
Yep,
right? Rather than looking at it like there is so much abundance and there is so much for everybody. Why are we fighting over, or why are we, trying to, some of us, take from others or get our share, or, these kinds of lack ways of thinking and acting? It's pretty crazy when you actually look at it, when
well,
you
it
turn
is.
it around.
Yeah, it's amazing because what we've brought to ourselves is that feeling of um, you have to do better than you are, um,
Right.
and but also it's a point where I think what we've been brought up with is to use our ego as the competitor.
Right.
So when that's why all these games and everything that we learn as we're a kid, it's about to win, right? Well, why is it always that you have to win? That gives you it teaches you to either, if you don't win, you're no good.
Yeah.
And
That's the message. Yeah.
it's a fine line, because you do need your ego to protect yourself. You do need your ego to be self-aware and be proud of yourself, but it can't be in a competitive mode. You can't be using your ego to be better than anything or anyone, no matter who it is. And you have to appreciate who you are, to say, I'm doing the best of who I am, and I need to be proud of it. It doesn't matter if I come in first or last. If I did my best and I feel good, I should be proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely, for sure. But that's not what we were taught.
No, and you know what? There is a fine line, because even, like, I know there was a now people, the like kids, everybody gets a trophy. Well, I don't necessarily agree with that.
No.
And I understand the concept, because it's just what I explained. You don't have to be the winner to be good. But I still think if there is, in the world of sports and um, games and contests and anything competitive, has to have the, you have to strive to be the best, but not be, you need to learn that it's okay. As long as I did my best, I'm still good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that I don't need to get an award because that person did better than me. They do deserve the award. And you need to learn that aspect of winning. It's not losing, of just the competition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's way out of balance. We have to come, back to some sort of balance and harmony there
Yeah.
with respect to that, right? I mean, what we're talking about is two extremes, but
Yes,
somewhere in the middle, is a viable solution to it for sure.
for sure. And I know we didn't say that we would love to have you guys comment. I hope
Oh
you're
yeah, please do, of course, right?
and subscribing. Um, and we definitely will be reading your comments and answering them either on the next call or you know, on live, if we, because right now we're doing recordings. So, but as soon as we feel more comfortable, we will be doing some live ones. And once that gets going, then we can interact with all of you. So yourheartoflove.com is there. And if you need to send an email, it's info@yourheartoflove.com. And we just want to just be a friend that
Mhm.
listen to.
Absolutely, because what we're talking about, I think probably anybody that is going through something might want to consider what we're thinking about and really seeing what is at the root of, what could be going on, why your life isn't necessarily working the way that you want it to work,
Yeah,
to take a look at yourself, have the courage to do that. And, there are ways, just like you said, it's not an easy process to come out on the other side, but you definitely can, and there are tools and techniques that, Betty Ann and I want to share of what's worked for us. Like how did we turn this around? And not that it's ever gone, because sometimes I still feel that way. It'll still come up that,
well,
oh, that,
it's always somebody that's going to make a comment to you that you're going to go, Oh,
but
there's
you have the tools and you have the techniques and the ability to turn that around
yes,
and to, change beliefs, because that's what I discovered when I was looking at myself and my, why I wasn't so happy, was I realized I had some of these beliefs about myself that really just weren't true, and I looked at them.
yeah,
That I was good enough. I mean, look at all the things that I've done, the successes that I had, who I was as a person to other people, but somehow I just didn't focus on that. I didn't at all focus on that. I focused on what, was wrong with me versus, what was right with me. And so, a lot of what we're talking about, right, is changing the focus of, what you're thinking, and, really getting in there and correcting some of these beliefs that are just bogus. Like they really are, and I can laugh at it now, but I mean, I wasn't necessarily laughing at the time, but it all made sense to me that these things, these habits of thought needed to change. I needed to change the way that I thought about things.
absolutely. That's truly the key. I've been reading The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Being Wealthy and Healthy. Um, the it's all about your mind and your thoughts. What are you saying and to yourself, and what are you thinking? And that's why I say The Science of Getting Rich by um, um, his last
Wallace,
name Waddles.
Waddles, yeah.
Waddles, and it's an old book, so it's written in almost like thee and thou type of
Yeah,
language.
like
But
the early 1900s or something, right?
yeah, and it's so pertinent to today and how we are and who we feel, what we want, and how simple it really is to have everything you want by manifesting it, by just changing your thoughts that change your emotions, that gravitate everything as law of attraction back to you. And that's, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's not,
Another old mentor of mine used to use the adage that your thoughts create your feelings, which create your actions, which create your results,
yep,
right? It's how we're thinking about things. And, just very briefly, quantum physics has proven in the
yep,
last while that thoughts are real forces. There is an energy charged to them, and they do have influence in our lives and what we're putting out there.
yep.
And as far as, like you said, law of attraction, what we're getting back, those thoughts are definitely, bringing back what's like to them, the same vibration, the same feeling tone to them.
Well, I think it also, in the book, it explains that even when you're, and I actually have heard it with Abraham Hicks, if you're not aware of who that is. But they, in their information, it talks about you should not speak of anything you don't want. So even if you're listening to and comforting somebody that has an ailment or a sickness or a disease, you need to be aware of your emotions about it, about that disease, not the person, about that particular problem. Because if you take that energy in, you can actually attract that disease, that problem, that issue onto yourself. Because you become afraid, you bring fear into the picture, and you bring that into your body. So it's hard to be empathetic and not sympathetic, because sympathy, you bring in the energy from that person. But when you have empathy, you are looking at it in a picture that's their energy, and you're just listening and being there for them, but you're not absorbing their energy. And
Right.
and that's so difficult, to realize that what's out there in the world, all this crap that's going on, that you hear from this person and that person, and it doesn't matter where it's from, it's all fear. So if we fear it, well, do you want it? Do we want
Yeah.
it to be a
We want it in our lives in some way, shape, or form, right?
right? So if you believe that that's truly going to happen, well, number one, you have to learn that if anything happens that's that drastic, we don't have control over it. So what are you worrying about? If it's that bad of a thing, it's going to happen and you're going to be gone. We're on to the next world. But so why do I worry about it? So, because can I do something about it? I don't know. Depends on what we're worrying about.
Yeah, what I've come to learn is that, we can do, it's an indirect thing, but we can do something about it. And it's doing exactly what we're doing now. Is
Yes.
we're talking about it, and we are raising the vibration of things. We are focusing on love. We're choosing to focus on joy. We're looking at focusing on abundance, peace, all of those high vibrational emotions. That's what we're choosing to focus on. And it's
Yes.
like the ripple effect, because everything is energy. As I said, quantum physics has proven that thoughts, they're energy, and they
Yeah.
have an effect on our lives and on the collective. So, if we change our focus and we focus on in our lives, what's positive, what's good, what's loving, all these things, then the ripple effect from that, even though we can't see it, it has been proven that it's true. I mean, we just went to a conference, didn't we,
Yes.
Betty Ann, in January,
Yes, we did.
of human consciousness and evolution. And quantum physics is proving these things, that, like, proving them, what we, maybe thought or believed or intuitively felt were true, are actually real facts now. It's been proven that these, and we do have an effect on others. And, we can help others. We can help this situation that we're in this world, by being the change, like Gandhi said, being the change we want to see in the world.
Right. So we have to change our thoughts from fear to hope, or fear to excitement, of of the uh, of the opposite of what you want. You're seeing and hearing, and what you want. And we have to be aware of what is it that we're thinking. And I think that um, not enough has to go away, because you are enough. We are enough. Everyone is enough. There is enough to go around for all of us. And we have to remember that there is no limit. There is no limits except the ones we put on ourselves.
Right on. Well said, sister.
I
And I
think
think,
we're running up to 35
yeah,
minutes.
and I think that that's a wonderful note to end this session on. And we'll pick up, this is a big topic of conversation. It
Yes.
really is, because we're hitting on some really important things here. I mean, I'm giving myself new food for thought as well,
Absolutely.
and this is the thing. This isn't about, you know us trying. I mean, we want to share, obviously, our experiences, and maybe they might help you out, maybe you might garnish a golden nugget from it, whatever. But that's not our intention. Our intention is to evolve ourselves as well as, do it with you,
And
because it's a
yeah,
two-way street always, right?
exactly, and share our experiences with all of you,
Yeah.
and 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 maybe you'll see a transition. Hopefully, you can say, "Oh, I see a big difference in you guys."
I
Like,
guarantee, Betty Ann, and we'll talk more about it next time, that if
yes,
people actually work on their thinking process and they actually change the way that they think, they change these limiting beliefs. In my experience, I have experienced going through that journey and knowing that absolutely, at minimum, you're going to feel better. At minimum, that
yep,
you will. And I guarantee it, that at least it's happened in my life. I've seen it happen in other people's lives. I know it's happened in your life and Bob's. And so, yeah, let's pick up where we left off, and see you next time.
all right. Take care.
Mhm.
Talk to you soon.